Welcome back everyone to game number 2 here in the D2CL Chinese group stages between EHOME and Newbee. Let's head over to the draft and see what we're dealing with. We've waited quite a while for the lobby to fill up and get into the game. There weren't any ping issues this time. I'm not sure what took so long, but let's welcome in my co-commentator Scant. And what did you think about game number 1? Newbee looked a little bit off, but they played well, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, I think game 1 decided largely by the draft. It's the third time we've seen in this tournament a team pick up that lifesteal as a core for what's not exactly a death ball, but a sort of slightly slower convert into death ball lineup where all of a sudden you group up, you push, the team just can't handle you. And I think Newbee just caught off guard, not really understanding that that's what the draft was going to do. If they had understood that, I don't think they last picked the Slark, even though it was good against the lifesteal. It didn't fit into dealing with that group up plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at this game, last game we saw that EHOME denied Mew his quap, and this game they've allowed him to have it, but it's because they got to first pick the Batrider beforehand. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason they gave it away.
Yeah, I can go behind that, but Newbee, you know, we've seen them struggle a little bit in games where mechanically they don't seem as good as they were a couple of months ago. And I don't know if they've started practicing again, because that game they didn't make any small mistakes. I didn't see anything apart from, you know, a missed pounce here and there. Everything looked crisp, everything looked clean. It was just the fact that, like you said, drafting wise and overall game plan wise, it just seemed a little shifted too far to the farming side. They needed to be a little stronger defending towers, and they needed something that could hold up on its own against the push in.
I don't think Newbee's issue last game had anything to do with mechanics or, you know, skill in terms of their play. It's much more about the overall draft and the small decision making in the game. Even some of the early skirmishes where they just seem to underestimate the ability that Tree would have to heal people up and turn it around, or Snipe would have to shrapnel people up and get return kills. I think it's mostly at the level of strategy that Newbee have lost that previous game, and I guess you're right. I mean, I guess your implication is that maybe they've started practicing, and so why they've been struggling all over the board recently, the mechanics are certainly looking to have improved a bit. Well,
EHOME get themselves a Silencer there, banning out the Lycan, while Newbee take out Ember Spirit. Silencer is a hero that we're seeing more and more often in China, not so much in Europe, as a 4 or 5 role support. Skipping past pretty much every item, just going Tranquil Boots and into Observer Wards for the majority of the game, then trying a Refresher later on in the game. But it's mainly about that control. Having control of the game, saying to Newbee basically, okay, we'll allow you to fight sometimes, but when Global is off cooldown, you don't really have that opportunity.
Yeah, and we've spoken a lot about the Silencer pick in the last few days, and I feel like we've really worked something out about the hero, which is that teams that get forced into a position where they have to use the Global reactively, those teams usually still lose despite having the power of the Silencer. When you have the Silencer in your team, you really want to be the team being proactive, making the moves, getting the initiations off, using Global Silence on your own terms. The power of the skill is very reduced if you have to use it to react to the enemy team doing something.
Yeah, because they can get in there, they can cast their first round of abilities before you have the chance to react, because you might not know. The Smoke Gang can come in, they launch a Fissure at you, something along those lines, and I'm kind of looking here and thinking, where's Earthshaker? Not picked up by Newbee there in the third. They take the Juggernaut instead for Rabbit, as they have, like you said, Moose Queen of Pain, the Rubik for Banana, yeah, and then Sunshine Earthshaker maybe, but EHOME is their third pick now. Secondary support, offlaner, offlaner Batrider. You don't really want to pick up your safe lane carry just now, do you? Your mid, you'd prefer to leave them to last until you know what you're dealing with support-wise over on Newbee.
Lion.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been enjoying seeing the Queen of Pain and the Lifestealer for ZYF, but obviously he's not going to be able to get the Queen of Pain this game. I'm not sure if you'll want the Lifestealer yet again. They pick up the Lion for now as their secondary support, and I think that's a pretty solid pick. It's very good against both of the cores that Newbee have, and just a very prioritized and picked support at the moment in general.
Well, Newbee now thinking about what they want. They can still go for that ES. Great at defending it against Batrider. Pretty good at stopping any roaming movements from their Lion as well.
It's what they're considering, I think. They're considering which support do we take, which is good against Batrider. Because there's the ES, there's the Vengeful Spirit, there's maybe even a Shadow Demon or a Baron. Disruptor's pretty good even against Batrider, but they'll want their second support to have a way to protect against Batrider, I think.
Like, Rubik's
So
okay, but if he gets hit by Napalm and then has to turn around in telekinesis, it doesn't really work. And they go with their offlane, leaving their final support as a fifth pick. And it's not as though they can, you know, surprise Enigma or anything like that. Silencer and Batrider, along with Lion, are more than enough and very capable of stopping that black hole.
Yeah, I still think the last pick for Newbee is going to be another hero that helps against the Bat. You're right, the Rubik can lift, but he needs to be pretty close for that, whereas a level 2 Vanish Swap from far away or Disruptor's Glimpse from far away, those are sort of the more effective, I think, or more reliable ways to counter. The issue is that with the global silence up, there's not going to be anything they can do to stop Bat initiating, and with that Viper pick, I wonder, EHOME, maybe they will... Okay, yeah, Lifestealer being banned out by Newbee, I was just going to say... The Viper pick really suggests that the Lifestealer might come back and they might do that same kind of group up and push strategy. But they'll have to choose a different hero for ZYF in this game.
I like that ban there from ROTK. AA going to be very good against the Viper, who likes to build into mech, stop them pushing into those tier 1, tier 2 towers too quickly. And Newbee were looking for secondary support. He's also decent against Batrider, especially on lane. When you've got Rubik and AA running around with Chilling Touch, you just whack people down.
Yeah, and AA also combines extremely well with Queen of Pain. She can go make solo kills with AA ulti all over the map all game long. So it's nice to deny the AA. There's lots of reasons to deny it, but I do still think Newbee wants to support that interact somehow with the Batrider. I'm not too sure. I mean, maybe they think there's a global silence, we're not going to be able to do anything anyway. He's just going to global and blink in and lasso, and why waste our time? And you are right that Rubik can help against... I mean, if he's in the right position, Rubik can be one of the better supports actually against the Batrider initiation. But he needs to be in the right position. It's so critical. I'm
just wondering if they're considering, you know, going for something like a Chen or an Enchantress. If they want to turn the early game pressure around on EHOME. Because EHOME want to try and get snowballing. They've got Viper and Batrider who require, you know, mech and Blink Dagger. They need these early game items. If they have a Chen up against them, maybe that, you know, puts a spanner in the works and destroys their tier 1 towers first, gives Newbee that burst of gold, which allows them to keep on going, and...
Ooh.
Leshrac.
It's going to combine with the Rubik. This is a combo that these guys used to use in the past, with the roaming early on, lift into stun, and... It does say something similar to what you were saying, right? They want to be the aggressors, and definitely we've agreed that the team that's the aggressors. I mean, if they're the aggressors, the silence is going to do a lot less, and EHOME's whole strategy is going to do a lot less. I mean, if Viper isn't the aggressor, if he's not the one sort of grouping up, doing stuff with his mech pushing, worse for him, worse for Silencer. Oh wow! Talk about ZYF innovation. Eh? Here's a new one. It's the Ursa Warrior.
What? Great against Bristleback, damn good against Juggernaut, and I guess while Queen of Pain is hexed up by Lion, you can take him down. Okay.
It feels like in some regard it works similarly to Lifestealer, but it doesn't have that built-in rage, and I want to say that's a big part of Lifestealer's ability to group up with a team and push. It still is, in a different way, aside from the rage, it's still a hero that with its early items, it feels like when his team pushes, you don't really want to be defending, because you know he's just going to be too hard for you to control during that sort of 10-minute window.
Also, they're dire side, so they've got that Roshan pretty close by. But laning-wise, they're just going to go stock standard here, right? They're going to put Viper mid. Inflame's got that. Lanham support Ursa up at top. But then, I'm just wondering where DDC goes.
He could harass mid at the start, or they could just do that safe try lane. I'm not too sure, but DDC spent a lot of time helping out Inflame last game, so maybe that's the pairs that they've chosen to use, and maybe he will help out mid a bit in this game too. And again, the starting build for ZYF is the boots. So last time I thought it had to do with the fact that he expected Clockwork to have boots, but maybe this is just, you know, he prefers to have boots when he starts in the safe lane. Could have to do with his supports leaving him. Often we see a safe laner wanting boots to start with if their supports aren't going to be there. But it's also going to help. I mean, in this game, what looks like offlane Bristleback doesn't actually have boots to start with. It's going to really help for Ursa to have those boots to be able to zone him out with even just one support nearby.
What kind of item build does Ursa go for nowadays? Because he doesn't have a wisp, so it's not like they can go relocating around. It's going to be like Phase Boots, Blink, and then Morbid Mask. Go into Roche as early as possible.
Remember, this is the guy who invented the Queen of Pain Shadow Blade, so that's probably an item he'd consider too. There's a lot of options. I don't want to predict when it comes to a player that likes to invent new things. I'd rather just see what he does and discuss after, I guess.
Yeah, let's see what he does. Inflame up on his top lane, gets that bounty rune as June is stunned up. Telekinesis not going to put ZYF on the cliff. It looked a little bit close, and that would have been...
It was still very clutch telekinesis because the Ursa actually leveled his Earthshock and was about to use it. And that's very likely a kill with 4 heroes there if he gets it off.
Oh, Fuzzy Wuzzy. He's going to go up against June on this top lane, and they will have the safe lane tri lane. DDC playing the Silencer, heading up here, just gonna get up there in the face of June, looking for that aggressive lane ward, while ZYF on the Ursa. Backing up is Lanham playing the Lion mid. Is going to be Moo on the Queen of Pain and Inflame on that Viper, while down at bot, the safe lane tri lane of the Radiant. RTK looks like he's in an awful lot of trouble, backs himself up, goes forward a little bit, and whoa. He looked like he was okay, but now Split Earth misses completely. And
Sansheng didn't pull him back.
Correct.
Sansheng just dropped him on the spots, and I think Banana expected him to pull him back. And by the way, I was saying during the drops, I really thought Banana would be Rubik. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I've seen Banana playing the Rubik recently.
I thought RTK was dead, then fine, then dead, then fine. And that little bit of miscommunication, that's something that we've seen from Newbee a little bit recently. The just lack of cohesion, you know, the two players aren't on the same page. And Banana's taking some right clicks here unnecessarily from the Bat Rider. 3 sticky napalm stacks. He's trading, but not trading evenly.
Yeah, I've just had a look, and it looks like both Banana and Sansheng play quite a lot of Rubik. But I think Banana's the one who's been playing it mostly as of late, in the last few months, the last year even. But possibly Banana's also just the specialist Leshrac player. So then relegated Sansheng to the role of Rubik in this game.
Relegated. Shoved him over there like, you take the Rubik, you take the boring hero, I'm gonna play a Leshrac. I'm gonna stun people, throw out Edict, Lightning Storm, all sorts of nonsense. Lanham takes the Illusion Rune up at top while June is trying to stack up Ancients, doesn't succeed.
Look at ROTK's level compared to June's level. I mean, ROTK is well on his way to 4, June is not level 2 yet.
Yeah. And he's contesting pull-throughs. Sansheng can't really do anything about this without the Leshrac here. And even just the two of them, it's not as though they can kill RTK. They can drop him to maybe half health. They need Rabbit's level 2 Blade Fury.
Yeah, meanwhile, this top lane, the Bristleback, it just adds insult to injury that he missed that stack because he's getting nothing. He's just being harassed by Silence when he goes to lane. So he leaves the lane and he'll try stack again, because this is going to be the way that he gets back into the game with these stacks.
Ursa. Having a little bit of fun. Last hit wise, Rabbit is leading the board there with 16 for 3. The Ursa 14 for 4, not too far behind. The Queen of Pain against Viper is a relatively passive farming lane. You know, Inflame can lay down some harass onto the Quap. Quap can put some harass back down onto Inflame. It's nice to see Moo, though, not going for the 2-1-2 build. Going for the 1-1-2. Prioritizing Scream over Shadow Strike here against the Viper. Definitely what you want to do. The Corrosive Skin, more likely than not, going to be maxed out by Inflame. And you don't want to have it, you know, returning more damage than you're dealing.
Well, there's that first item on ZYF. It's Phase Boots. Those are pretty standard. I think we could have already predicted those.
Well, I said Phase Boots, Morbid Mask, Blink. That's my predictions. So it goes Phase Boot. Yeah. Don't finish off the Vlads. I don't think it's entirely necessary. And he doesn't have a Ring of Protection or Ring of Basilius or anything like that to start off the Vlads. Head into Roche, then go into Blink Dagger. Well, you give your supports a little bit of time. I don't know if they need time though. ZYF comes in and will find first blood onto Bristleback.
Yeah, and that tells you why the Bristleback was so scared the whole time, and finally trying to go forward and get some XP. He is still level 1. This is the most shutdown I've seen an offlaner in a very, very long time in competitive Dota. I mean, these days it's usually quite difficult to make them get absolutely nothing. And I didn't see the creep blocks at the start. Maybe was there a big creep block on the side of EHOME in the safe lane? Because usually just from where the lanes start, the offlaner gets something.
It
Or
was
maybe that's where he got his 82 points of experience.
it was a good creep block, but it wasn't, you know, super exceptional. I think it was the fact that June didn't get a block off at all. Because he was over contesting top rune, and then he got stunned up, and they had that little brawl around the top rune spot.
RTK does go down
Oh.
at the tower, and that involved a level 2 spin, as you're suggesting, a telekinesis and a fade bolt, and doing enough damage to kill him. But RTK is nearly level 5. He's not going to be too unhappy about that death. He had boards out with most of his gold, and he could even just move over to the jungle soon, where there's already at least 1 stack for him, I believe.
Yeah, they're getting things going in the jungle. Get RTK's Blink Dagger as quickly as he can. He's a little bit worried now heading back down there. Rabbit, he knows he's got level 2 Blade Fury. He knows that the magic damage output is definitely available at the fingertips of Newbee. So, get a couple of levels in the jungle. Head up to level 6, get another stack, keep things going.
So far, 2 out of 2 Durka, the Morbid Mask is up on the Ursa.
Okay. So, one...
And a Quelling Blade as well.
Well, we're not counting the small items, right? I don't have to predict that he's going to buy another branch and then a circlet or something like that. Mid lane, Lanham will try and save Inflame here. Telekinesis is back with a scream. They finish him off. Lanham on the run, and Banana diving the tower a little bit. Not gonna take
June
it.
dies again in the top lane, that's what I was watching. He did get level 2, so congratulations to him, he got a level. But that was like well played by ZYF. I don't know, a lot of Ursa players don't do this. He moved into fog, turned on overpower, waited a while and then ran in. Or he's gonna be stuck on this cliff. He's got a TP, he'll TP out right away. But using the overpower, waiting for it to run a little while. But Rune is a little fight too, going the way of the Lion, 1v1 versus Leshrak. If you use the, sorry, I just want to finish this thought. If you use the overpower and you wait a bit, you can actually run in, get those hits, slow the guy, and then turn on overpower again right away, and you get twice the number of hits.
It's like the more efficient way of doing Roshan is that you overpower sort of, if you're dire side, you know, you overpower as you're reaching the Ancients, and then when you get into the Roche pit, you get those swipes off, and then you overpower again straight away, and you bring him down to really low HP within a short period of time. It was kind of like how Gyrocopter flat cannon used to work. You would preemptively flat cannon before you joined a fight, so you could get all those AoE hits out before the cooldown was, you know, massively nerfed, and then you'd have another flat cannon pretty much ready.
Okay, look, so ZYF picked up the smoke, he's gonna go rush in, he's moving to the jungle so long, and actually DDC gonna solo the safe lane for now with Silencer. And you know, you'd think leaving a support Silencer to solo safe lane against off lane is usually dodgy, but this is like an under-leveled Bristleback. The support Silencer is 2 levels ahead of him.
Is he really level 5 on the Silencer? Holy crap,
yeah.
yes he is. So
DDC standing back, I think, just because he's worried about support rotations. I think he'd be only too happy to lane against the Bristleback right now if he suspects it's just 1v1.
where is ZYF going? He leaves an Ogre over there. He's heading back up to top lane. I think it's time. Okay, we're going to kill June one more time.
Oh, look at Mu. Mu's going in, diving bots on ROTK.
Yeah, they're going to find him. Omni Slash passes back to creeps. They will find this kill as top lane. They didn't go in. ZYF went to the creep camp. He's so scared. June is so scared of this Ursa just running at him.
Well, June's managed to recover quite a lot as Inflame actually kills the Rubik in the mid lane. I mean, I say recover, he's still behind on gold, but he got to level 4 when he was sitting at level 1 for so long in this game. But yeah, that killed bot lane. I saw Mu with the Invis rune, actually sitting in the rush pit, just like watching, waiting, very, very patient, you know, stalking his prey. And as soon as RTK came off the tower a little bit, he jumped, and that was a dead Batrider.
Nice.
I think I've just heard a smoke. Was that the Ursa?
No. I'm watching the Ursa. He's still over here. Not sure who smoked up.
Maybe I didn't hear a smoke. I thought I just heard a smoke.
Well, there's the smoke from the Ursa. He's also got an illusion with him, but do you send the illusion mid to try and bait things out? Do you pretend that, you know, you got spotted and you're not going back in? Or
I
do you
guess
just...
it can tank a few hits. Or
Yeah, I guess.
Can it though? It's invisible. It can't reveal without killing itself.
True.
I think.
That is very true. It cannot. So it's smoked up here doing absolutely nothing. Look, he's done the move command onto it, but it doesn't do anything. Then it gets revealed. Mid lane, Viper, just de-warding away. No, actually, that's Radiant Sentry.
Okay, well, I think ZYF will be able to finish this rush pretty easily, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to bother. Oh, Juggernaut scouts with the healing wards. Oh, wow.
ZYF. Banana coming in. Level 3 split earth, but it looks like they'll be just fine.
They can't... Newbee can't steal the rush, can they?
They're gonna try, apparently. The healing ward's down. He's got Mold Mask up on Rabbit. This is not that quick, though. Lanham coming back in.
Omni Slash down for another 10 seconds.
Well, there's the Global Silence. Rabbit gonna get taken down here by Inflame. Getting that slow poison attack onto him. No. No. Stick charges and spin. Even with the damage output there. They couldn't bring down the Juggernaut. Rabbit looks to re-enter the fight. Omni Slash, like you said, is back and available. But where's the target? He wants one person on their own. RTK might be that one hero.
Well, you know what? I think that ZYF would have finished Rush in another like 2 to 3 seconds. If not for Rabbit sending in that healing ward to scout. So heads up play from Rabbit there. Right after killing the tower. Just thinking, you know, why not send a scouting healing ward into the pit?
Why not indeed? DDC, Invis looking around for someone. He's got 1300 gold. Oh, that's painful. They smoke up. They've got no sentries, no way to know where DDC is. That's going to be one of the most annoying things that could ever happen.
Yep. And I wonder, do you think DDC might save for a straight Midas? He's got quite a lot of gold in that silencer. No. He answers my question.
No.
Earn and wards. Yeah, we don't see it a lot in Chinese silences actually, that straight Midas.
I don't think we see it at all.
There's still an Omni Slash.
Yeah, they're going to down onto Viper. Inflame loses a lot of HP, but the turnaround with the stick charges now. Banana lassoed up onto high ground. One more swipe from Rabbit will finish off the Viper. But in comes the cavalry as ZYF is lifted up in the air. Lanham has nothing left to give, and Ursa has nothing really to slow people down. He's got the slam onto the ground.
Yeah, there's no mana on the Lion, and Silencer doesn't have global yet. This might legitimately be Newbee stealing the rush, I'm not sure.
Well,
20 seconds to global silence.
Moo has Sonic Wave in 25 seconds, yeah. Global Silence in 15 now. Ursa wants to run in, but who's his target? Rabbit has already taken Roshan, it's dead. They've got Aegis Immortal, now they turn back around. ZYF lifted back up in the air again, he's gonna go down. I don't know, EHOME. They are getting dismantled here by Newbee, and it's all really awkward.
Yeah, and this poor Lion was standing around just desperately trying to mana drain because he had no mana the whole time. I'm sure that both the supports on EHOME were saying, we can't do anything, guys. And ZYF's like, but it's my Roshan, they can't have it. And turns out they can have it, and turns out you also... Wait, no, was that... Who just bought a Blink Dagger? I was gonna say you're right about the Blink, but... I thought it was the Ursa.
RTK? Bat Rider?
It's the Bat, yeah. It's the Bat who just bought the Blink. But this is not where Ursa wants to be. He could have spent that time farming instead of unsuccessfully twice going to try rush and twice dying. So really not the position he wants to be in on this hero.
Yeah, well done by Newbee though, knowing exactly what limitations Ursa has. He wants that Rosh, he needs that little boost to push him ahead in terms of net worth of the rest of his opponents.
We were talking about how in the first game, even though they got outdrafted maybe and out-strategized during the game, Newbee, their mechanics look decent. In this game, the decisions have been on point as well. They're really reading EHOME very well so far.
Well, ZYF picks himself up a Ring of Aquila. Looking at the net worth, Rabbit is leaps and bounds ahead. With that Roche kill, he's now on 6.5k. He's got Mask of Madness, 2,000 gold to his name. And more likely than not, a Yasha for him very shortly. While the Queen of Pain, 4.7, very respectable. The Ursa, you know, we were just talking about him, he's lagging behind. But the Viper hasn't progressed at all. He was running around that Roche pit wondering, okay, I need to fight, I need to save my team, I need to do something, but I'm not sure what it is. And his mech has been delayed so heavily.
And Bristleback is just on his heels in terms of net worth, and this was a Bristleback that was level 1 when I think Batrider was level 5. I mean, and there's another Ancient stack waiting for Bristleback to farm, so you'd never think that this was a guy who had an extremely difficult lane stage.
Whoa. Whoa, Lanham. He goes for the Finger of Death, but he's gonna get a return onto him by Sancheng, who steals it.
And EHOME looking to be coming apart to some extent. Things are really not going well for them. And you know what? This is something that I felt we saw with EHOME in the first few series when they started playing this tournament. they were splitting a lot of series and very often winning the first game and losing the second. And to me, it is something to do with temperament.
The global Inflame caught out. Moo going in for the right clicks. He's slowed down by Viper Strike, and the last word will probably tick him over. In the back, Sansheng on the Rubik. In fact, goes down, but Moo respawns back to full life. Sonic Wave's ready, gonna throw it out onto Lano and DDC as June's trying to chase them down, but there's no further damage. As Newbee now go back in with the Omni Slash. RGK getting really unlucky with the bounces. A Rabbit finishes him off as Ursa is going to be the third to fall. This is just continual diving here from Newbee. Moo going back in onto the tier 2 tower, not afraid of anything. Lanham though turns back around with a stun. DDC is going to end up with almost a triple kill. Gets a double kill and makes his streak a dominating one.
Yeah, I just had to reconnect quickly, getting a little bit of lag there myself.
What a mess. What a mess. I don't know what to think of this game. You know, 8,000 net worth on Rabbit. Okay, this is a juggernaut with a lot of gold. Queen of Pain is well on her way to Orchid. It's 15 minutes into the game. 12 to 11. And it's just nuts. 5,000 net worth lead so far for Newbee, which, you know, EHOME had the better laning phase for the first 7-8 minutes. And then the whole Roche shenanigans happened.
Yeah, from what I could see, I mean, I can't see what's happening in the game right now. It speaks to the temperaments of EHOME as a team. That's what I felt in previous series I watched of them, where they very often took the first game convincingly and in the second game just struggling to sort of keep their calm when a few things go wrong. And this is what it feels a bit like that's happened here. Mask of Madness on ZYF, so there you go. You did not call that, and I think that counts, right?
I guess it counts.
That's not a blink dagger. That's something totally different.
Where's the blink?
It's an unusual item on Ursa, isn't it? Because he already gets max attack speed from overpower.
Well, he's pretty slow when he doesn't have it. So, you know, you can run in. It gives him great movement speed, which I think is one of the bigger reasons to buy Mask of Madness now. You know, the movement speed along with phase boots, you can just charge into people.
Wait, so I say max attack speed, but was there a recent change where the cap was lifted, I think? Is it just because it says it gives you 400 bonus attack speed? I might be imagining things, but I feel like there was a recent change where that cap was lifted.
I don't know.
I want to check. I will check.
Good. You check. You check these things. Lanham building up into that Blink Dagger. 1,700 gold, so we're pretty damn close to that as Moo nearly has Orchid completed. Recipe away, and Rabbit with the Sanjin Yasha. Already fully done. 17.5 minutes into this game. June taking out the Ancient Stack we noticed earlier. That's enough for his Vanguard if he wants it. Do they need a mech? Do they want something along those lines? Crimson Guard would be nice. But, I don't know, a mech would be even nicer. I guess the nuke down from Lion, keep them sustained and healthy during the global silence. Maybe even just heal up the target that Ursa goes for.
Yeah, in 6.83 the maximum attack speed, it seems, was raised to 600. Which means that actually Ursa could get even more attack speed. From, you know, Overpower is not maxing it out, it's just making it really high. So I guess that makes more. I mean, historically it just seemed a bit weird to me. Like, you've got super fast attack speed, why buy attack speed items on Ursa? But you can get value out of that right now. And the Mask of Madness obviously also gives you the move speed and the lifesteal.
Wait, max attack speed is 600.
Yeah, and Ursa gets plus 400 when he uses Overpower.
Yeah, so he's sitting on 548 with Overpower on, which is close to max anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not necessarily great to boost your attack speed further.
Oh, global. Rabbit goes in, but he's silenced up. Can't get the Omnislash down, and he will fall. Sansheng and Banana now, both caught in the grasp of the Viper. ZYF charging forward. Mask of Madness movement speed, along with the phase boots, allowing him to get in there onto the left track, and will rip him apart as June is in the back lines. Moo blinks in, but great hex from Lanham, taking down the Queen of Pain before she can scream or Sonic Wave. ZYF rejoining the fight, but the rest of his team is gone. Moo has just enough mana for Sonic Wave, but doesn't throw it just yet as Lasso back onto Sansheng. Inflame getting taken out by Moo though. This is dirty on both sides. who's coming out on top? EHOME look like they're the victors. They get a 3-for-2 trade, now a 4-for-2. But they lost the Viper and the Ursa, who need farms so desperately.
Well, that's going to be a 4-star on Bats, it's going to be a Blink Dagger on Lion, and it's going to be another 1,700 gold on DDC Silencer, which I guess goes straight for a refresher at this point. That's usually what we see in China. Sometimes the 4-star, we hardly ever see the Aghanims or the Midas, though. Yeah, just going back to the Ursa thing, I guess you want Mask of Madness mostly for the move speed and lifesteal, and it's more like before they changed the attack speed cap, you were buying it for those things and accepting that the attack speed bonus of Mask of Madness, you just don't get anything. And sure, you wouldn't buy it for the attack speed now, but it's at least you don't get, it's not like there's that downside of you're not getting a certain part of the item.
Well, DDC is still deciding. He got himself about 1,000 gold from that fight, jumping up to 1,700. Well, Blink Dagger picked up by the Lion. Bat Rider now has more mobility. The smoke up from Newbee heading over to the Roche pit, though. Are they taking down the time? Do they know when it can be up? Are they going for a kill? They're not looking for Roche, in fact, baiting out a little bit mid with Rabbit.
And I don't think Lion's Blink Dagger has been spotted out yet. Might be a key player in this fight.
Well, almost slashed down onto Inflame, but bouncing back into the creep wave doesn't matter too much as he's slowed down and taken out. ZYF though, here he comes with that attack speed. Rabbit drops. Ursa finally getting his name on the board as Moo, Finger Death, Stun, and DDC is doing a hell of a lot of damage with all that in he's stolen. He is a right-clicking machine, but he can't really right-click through the survivability of June right now. Again, it's a messy trade. People are running down this mid lane. Bananas lassoed up. RTK and Lanham are the ones who are surviving. June and Sansheng.
It's really interesting how the cores keep dying and the supports end up fighting each other at the end. And there's a lot of gold going into supports as a result. But I feel like, I don't know, do you think Newbee took down Global Silence? Because they initiated when they were 5 seconds on Global Silence. And I think if the Global Silence was ready there, the Viper doesn't even die right away. And EHOME get a much better fight. So it was either very precise timing from Newbee or quite lucky by them. Because DDC was so close to the Global when the Jugger ran in to initiate that fight.
Well, still, who is this favoring? Because Newbee are just throwing bodies into the meat grinder, running down mid lane into that tier 2. Over and over again, just trying to battle through it.
Oh, this is going to be another fight at the Rush Pit soon. I'm feeling it. There's a Blink Dagger on Ursa, and just so we say the silences aren't going for Midas, DDC's like, look, I'm getting so much damn gold. I guess I'll get one this game.
He's got...
Rabbit gets a D rune. Oh.
ZYF, oh boy. There's the Orchid. And he's going to get brought down. Death and Destruction is thy name, as Moo says goodnight. Rabbit in the Roche Pit with the DD, yeah. Mask of Madness, not long for this world.
Safe to say that now this is favoring Newbee. You were just asking and the game kind of answered you. Another kill on ZYF, another Aegis on Moo. Yeah, that's going to swing the game in Newbee's favor, definitely. They're still going to have to deal with the Global Silence, but we've spoken at length about how having to reactively use Global Silence is not where you want to be, and that's already where DDC's been for a while.
Yeah. He's got Global backup now. DDC, look at he's got so much in stolen. If he had gone for, if he had started transitioning into a more core role, maybe he can with Midas. Maybe they've got enough time. But Rabbit, June, and Moo up on this high ground, they're saying, we're going to close this game out soon. We know your Viper doesn't have much. He's already falling off. 23 minutes into the game, and you're saying that the Viper is falling off already.
And I feel like Ursa's in that same position that Rabbit's Slark was in last game, where the hero just doesn't want to be the guy that's... Ursa's not a hero you pick for defending base. That's not where he wants to be. He wants to be going and brawling and making pickoffs and killing Roshan. Smoking up, yeah, like they'll here. Maybe they'll get June.
They will find June at the very least here. A pretty easy kill, but it did take 4 of them.
And
at the same
return
time,
kill on Inflame yet again.
I
How
feel
many
like
times has he died?
Exactly, 7. I feel like the kill on the Viper is more worth it here. Because the Bristleback, fair enough, is building into BKB, has been slowed down itemization-wise, but the kill on Viper, he has almost nothing. His net worth is middle of the board. He's 700 gold ahead of his support Silencer, for God's sake.
Yeah, and because of the way the game's gone, this game feels like it might end up being decided by the draft, similar to last game, where, you know, heroes like Slark couldn't help the base defense. I've spoken now about how Ursa doesn't really help the base defense, but a Viper that dies this many times, Viper's designed so that you can be proactive and you can group up and you can go push. It's not meant for the high ground defense. Neither is Ursa. So I imagine EHOME might start to struggle and definitely going to start depending a lot on their global silence for the defense. And yeah, I don't know how far the global silence can go on its own as a defensive tool.
So Ursa is now support, Silencer is now a carry. Let's see what DDC's got in store for us. 1200 gold up in the bank with that Midas supplying him with quite a lot. Point booster, is it? Are you going to go for the Ags, which we said you probably wouldn't go for as well? Doesn't look like it.
The richest hero on EHOME right now is actually ROTK's Batrider. I mean, that tells you something about where the Ursa and Viper are. It's not just because like ROTK has been amazing and got lots of farm. I mean, he's had a reasonable game. He's got a reasonable score. It's because Ursa and Viper are not where they want to be.
Well, Ursa, I don't even know at this point if you go for something like a BKB. I think just tanking up, buying damage, get a basher, or getting anything is going to be better than a BKB at this point. Maybe you get silenced up, maybe you get locked down by the telekinesis, but if you do, I mean, even if you don't, you're still going to die anyway to things like Sonic Wave and Omni Slash.
There's an entire BKB on the career for Rabbits, and there's about to be an entire BKB for Mu.
June has a BKB.
Yeah, they're gonna have 3 BKBs all at once, and I think it's gonna be too much because now the global silence can't do the work. And as we've said, the Ursa and Viper aren't in the elements when they're defending base. So unless Newbee just really have terrible execution when they decide to push objectives, I think they're gonna be too much. I think they're gonna overwhelm EHOME.
I think it might just come down to Newbee walking over them with that, with the new BKBs. Oh, he's got it. No, he doesn't. He didn't see him in time as Rabbit nearly gets in there for the Omni Slash. He got blocked up a little bit by the creeps on the walk through. As Sansheng blinks forward as Lanham blinks back.
Yeah, Lanham considering trying to kill Leshrac there, realizing he didn't have the damage. He didn't actually have the mana for his Finger of Death anyway. Had to start mana draining and then had to get out of there. But yeah, here comes Mu's BKB as well. And that'll finish the 3 BKBs.
And of course, they smoke up straight afterwards, head through the jungle. They're going to go up high ground here into Lanham, who needs to blink out. No, he doesn't have time. Globals pop, but Rabbit says, nope, I've got a BKB. June does not use his as the Queen of Pain. Actually, down in the Radiant jungle, hunting down RTK, BKB's expended, and yeah, that's not going to work. June is still chasing DDC. Deep into the base, in fact, behind tier 2s. Rabbit's got the damage. They've got the nasal goo. They have no way.
Yeah, EHOME can't do anything.
No, look at what Rubik stole.
Wow. Okay, that's not meant to happen. I think we had a conversation before about how that's not meant to happen.
Yes, we did. Like, the fact that you can just cast Curse of the Sun on the floor means the global silence should never be stolen. There's the global from Sansheng, meaning there's going to be no counter initiation here from EHOME. I'm losing my words.
The only way that global should be stolen is if the silencer just doesn't even consider that that's a possibility. You know, if he wants to not have it stolen, he's gonna curse the ground. It's gonna be easy for him to do that.
Well, at this point, Ursa's dead for a minute. Viper can buy back. Silencer dead for another 12 seconds. And RGK is limping back to base. One lane of Rax is already gone. Newbee now looking for the mid.
And Inflame buys back for one last defense, I guess, but Newbee could just retreat at this point. They've got enough done yet. They can come back later. In fact, they can come back soon, but maybe once they get, you know, a little bit of HP, a little bit of mana, wait for some key cooldowns. And it's very likely, I think, that the next push will be the last one of the game. But we saw just how ridiculous it was there. Like, what are EHOME supposed to do to react to those cores of BKBs running at them? They kind of need the silences to be able to global after all 3 BKBs, but that's never going to happen. And even then, if they're in BKB, so what if they're silenced? They can't kill you, but you're not going to kill them.
Well, that's the thing. let's just say hypothetically that Rabbit, June, and Moo all BKB because Batrider jumps on them, Lion wants to try and hex them, and they're like, oh shit, we're gonna die. And then Global Silence happens. Rabbit is probably still gonna chase people down. He'll try and juke and jive, dodge the Ursa. The only threat is the Ursa. Global now, but Moo BKBs. Ursa jumps in, ZYF takes down Sunshine, but Rabbit is here. The silence is worn off, and he has Omni Slash in 1 second time. Ursa trying to get up at the high ground, but he can't quite do it. Here comes Omni Slash and brings the pain onto ZYF, and EHOME, they're getting cleaned up. June with a BKB of his own, charging through DDC and Inflame. Banana will get taken out of the fight by Inflame, but that's it.
EHOME just, giving it one last shot before they call it. That's what I thought. It really felt like they were just, maybe we'll get lucky, see what happens. If we lose that fight, we just call the game.
Well, GG is called as we have another 1-1 draw. One win apiece, as really both games were quite one-sided. This one was a little interesting, like 15-20 minutes into the game, when Newbee were just, running into EHOME over and over again. But it was like sort of baiting out Global and then fighting when Global's down. I don't know, it was really odd, but in the end it worked out for them. Newbee taking game number 2. Any closing words?
EHOME, a team that just seemed to be struggling right now to close out series. I really often see them winning game 1 and really often see them splitting the series afterwards, and I think this game actually puts them on 7-7, a perfectly split record in this tournament. Yeah.
Well, that's it from us today, guys. We do have some ESL action later today, I think, with cap casting and covering that. Let me just double check for you. ESL 1 qualifier, Hellraisers against Na'Vi in 1 hour and 11 minutes, while Empire vs Tinker will follow that. 2 best of 3s over on ESL_joined out to Red. So make sure to tune in there. That's it for us today for D2CL. We've got some matches tomorrow, but what have we got? LGD versus Newbee, IG versus Newbee. So Newbee have got a couple of games to play. They are down in the dumps near the bottom of the table. They definitely need some wins in their pocket to try and at least alleviate the stress. The pressure is mounting right now. I don't think they can qualify. They've got quite a few losses to their name, but hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Tune into the rest of the Dota. There's the Summit, there's ESL 1 qualifiers, there's Star Series, there's all sorts of goodies going on. Make sure to keep on watching. I've been Durka. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at DurkaDota. Scant joining me at Scantzor on Twitter. Thank you once again. That's it.
Thank you.
That's it. We'll play some ads. We'll put on some music, and you guys can go and eat dinner. Go and have a run. Do whatever you want to do.